All right, I've got 7 hacks for you to make your marketing video shoot go faster and more efficient. Let's get started. First off, I want to make the assumption that your video shoot is going to have multiple people. These 7 hacks really have the most value when there's multiple people involved. You've got a crew, whether it's even internal people at your company, they're not professionals, or especially when you've hired professionals and you want to make sure your shoot goes fast so you don't have to pay people more. But either way, time is valuable. And even if you're shooting by yourself, some of these are still going to apply. So, number 1, invest time in pre-production. Now you're like, oh, come on, really? I'm talking about the day of the shoot. What are you talking about pre-production? But truly, the more people you have involved, especially if you're paying for people to be that on that day, you don't want to be figuring out on the fly. Have your video action plan figured out, knowing who your audience is, the purpose for this video, the direction where it's going to be distributed, the settings that you want the cameras to be shot with, the resolution and the frame rate, all that figured out ahead of time, along with the script. What are people saying? What are people being delivered? What is the shot list? What's being captured and shot that day? Have all that figured out ahead of time. The more people that are involved, the more time you want to invest in this. Now, if you're by yourself, you may not need to. You may be like, I'll just do it on the fly. Even if you're shooting by yourself, this can still be a helpful tip to keep in mind. So when you are capturing and you're in the frame of mind, all right, I'm gonna shoot all this video, that you don't feel drained because you realize, oh, I didn't figure out this thing, I didn't figure out this thing. Do your pre-production time, set specific time aside for that. That was tip number 1. Tip number 2, do a table read ahead of time with your talent or actors. This is really crucial if your talent or actors are not professionals, meaning they are not used to just delivering on camera all the time. Sit with them ahead of time with the script, sit down around a table and have them speak out loud. Don't just send them the script and assume that they'll read it. Being able to read out loud, deliver it in front of someone, you can see their gestures, their facial expressions, give feedback, and that they're ready and used to saying the script. Just make sure that your script is approved and ready when they read it. Otherwise, when they get to the day of the shoot, they'll again have to relearn everything. Location scouting is number 3. Scout where you're capturing your video. Don't do this, just say, oh, I think we're gonna shoot in that conference room over there, and then just show up and assume it's gonna be great. We actually did a whole separate video on how to choose a good location, so take a look at that. But spend time figuring out, scouting the location, go to it, see it, and if you can't get there, have someone take some pictures with their phone and send it to you so you can see what the environment's like, and ideally even have them record video so you could hear what the environment is like, so you know if you're gonna have any audio issues. Hack number 4, create a schedule. Now, actually, all these tips I'm taking is from our book, The Marketer's Guide to Video, and I'm actually read a couple tips from here on creating a schedule. You need to be aware that setting up the shot is gonna take time. So right away with the equipment, especially the more equipment you have and the more talented videographers or a director of photography who brought them on, they're gonna want a lot of time. So you want 60, 90 minutes, maybe even 2 hours if you have a lot of equipment in a very specific shot. Now, if it's a simpler thing, plan for 30 minutes. Usually that's a pretty good rule of thumb. Even if it's a very small crew and it's just got a camera and stuff, just plan for 30 minutes. Otherwise, you tell everyone, all right, everyone show up at 9 o'clock and we'll start shooting. Immediately, you're gonna be 30 minutes behind. So creating a schedule and planning time for breaks. Just even a 10-minute bathroom break and a snack break every 1-2 hours, and lunch break. Plan actually a little bit extra time, ideally like an hour for lunch break, and use that as a buffer. So if you're running a little behind through that morning, you can eat into the lunch break, and so that the overall day, you're not actually set back too much. Hack number 5, create a call sheet. Now, a call sheet in the film world is basically a 1-page document that has everything all the crew and talented actors need to know about what that shoot is, where it's happening, when it is, what they need to bring, what they need to wear, what the weather's like, who is the contact people they need to know if they have a question or issue. All that in one place, and you send that out ahead of time. Over-communicate will mean less issues and problems, and it will go faster when you're actually shooting. Now, the bigger the shoot, a call sheet makes sense. If it's a small shoot, just a couple people, then do a calendar invite. Again, with all that information, where it is, when it is, what they need to bring, what they need to wear, what you're covering, contact information for yourselves, if you're the one organizing it, whoever they need to know, even the weather. And anybody may think, okay, everyone's got a weather app, right? Why would they need the weather? You'd be surprised how many people don't even pay attention to that, and then they come the next day, or ideally you put it in there and say, oh, it's supposed to rain tomorrow? I didn't know. I'll make sure I bring my jacket or my umbrella or my boots or something. Otherwise, they show up and they got all these rain spots on their shirt, and then you're delayed trying to figure out, do we get it dry cleaned? Do we just shoot it anyways? Do we get a different shirt? As much information as you can in one place, this call sheet or a calendar invite will make sure it goes faster when you're shooting. Number 6, manage your time on the day. Now, ideally, if you've done your schedule, that is one of the biggest items. If you create your schedule, you'll be able to manage time efficiently. Even if you create your schedule, assign someone specifically on the shoot to manage the time, to check in every 30 minutes. Are we on time? Are we off time? Do we need to push things forward, pull it back? Making sure that someone's paying attention to that, as well as taking notes of what's been captured, what hasn't, so that you're not like 3 hours into it, already really far behind, and you're like, wait, did we capture that one shot? I'm not sure. Maybe we should reshoot it just in case. That sets you behind again. So having someone pay attention to that is important. Also, don't give the control to the perfectionist on your team. Otherwise, you're going to be reshooting and going on and on and on. Have someone that's not a perfectionist, can see the bigger picture, put their hand on the shoulder, say, okay, we've got this, let's move on. That's a couple things under managing your time. Number 7, the last one, plan for problems. We actually have a whole chapter on this in the book here, and it really breaks down to 3 areas: equipment, people, and environment. Under equipment, the more important the shoot is, or rather, the more likely that the person you're shooting, like a very important VP or director of the business, their schedules are very important, and you probably won't be able to get another chance to capture them, to shoot them, then you need to make sure you have backups. The more backups possible, whether SD cards, a camera if possible. If it's not working, what are you going to do? Like, oh crap, I can't record. What am I going to do? Batteries. Obviously, it's a big one. Make sure you've tested your batteries ahead of time. You have multiple batteries. I even had a professional videographer once tell me a story. She bought a whole package of AA batteries, and they were all dead. She didn't check it ahead of time because she thought they'd be great. Now, ideally, that should never happen to you, but you would know if you check it ahead of time that you've got backups and your equipment is ready to use. So that we got other ones under equipment, but people is the next big thing. If you have lots of people, the most common thing today you're gonna have to deal with is phones. These things, right? Somebody's gonna be texting, someone's gonna be on their playing a game, they're gonna be checking their email, especially the talent, because they're waiting around for you to say, okay, we're ready for you to shoot now, to get on camera. Ideally, everyone puts away their phone. One of the recent movies, Dunkirk, I heard that was actually a no phone set. No one could have their phones on them, and because he realized that would actually set back the time, because everyone be delayed 30 seconds. 60 seconds until they're, oh yeah, that's right, I'll be right there, let me just finish this. That adds up over time. Especially you have a lot of people, everyone's checking their phone, this, that. Set them aside, put them away, if you can. Even if you're by yourself, realizing I don't need my phone right now when I'm recording, because you'll get a ding, oh, was that a text message? Oh, was that an email? Put it away, focus on recording, and your time will be much more efficient because of that. And number 3 under preparing for problems or planning for problems is your environment. Now, ideally, if you've done your location scouting ahead of time, you've looked at the environment, you prepared for this. But one big thing is make sure you have someone focused on audio. Environment, that's the most common environment issue, is the sound. There's something that if no one has headphones on and listening for it, you won't realize it. It maybe seems so small, but when you get to the editing stage, the post-production stage, you're like, oh crap, well, we can't even hear him. The mic's slightly pointed off, or there's that humming noise or clicking or something. Have someone focused on just listening to the audio. Ideally, you're paying for a professional audio technician. That's their whole job, and they'll make sure it sounds great. So there you go, 7 hacks to make your marketing video shoot go faster and more efficient. This is all, again, from the book, The Marketer's Guide to Video. Feel free to check it out. It has lots more tips in there. We're trying to create more content, so please subscribe, follow, so when we create something next, you'll see it. Give us a shout also if you have questions that we can answer. I'm Alex with Your Local Studio. I'll see you next time.